Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, we're going to start the funeral services of Marilyn Floss Smith. We welcome those of you who are joining us online. When the family enters the chapel, we'll ask everyone to rise and stand in place, and then we'll be seated as one community. Please be sure that your cell phones have been turned off or at least to the silent mode. During the service, because I'm just not quite sure with all the people in here, there's going to be a video. So depending on the view, I might come in and just turn off these lights to make it more bright for the people in the back. So it's not done by accident, it'll be done on purpose. So at this time, I invite everyone to please rise and stand in place as the family enters the chapel. Please come this way. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we're going to begin the funeral service. Rabbi Nancy Landsman will be officiating.
It is truly an honor to be officiating this service today for Marilyn, someone who I know I would have loved to have known. I'm so grateful to her family for taking the time and her friends to meet with me to share their loving memories of her. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, those of you who are here physically in the chapel and those of you joining us remotely. It means so much that you are here to lend your love and your support to the family during this very difficult time. Our hearts go out to Marilyn's beautiful family, to Michael, to Allie and Jeff, to Emerson, to all of the relatives and friends who were so much like family. Her friends, you know who you are. It means so much. In learning about Marilyn, I have selected certain poems and readings that I felt were fitting for her and for her family. Each and every one of us has our own unique journey. And you have all been blessed to have been a part of Marilyn's journey. This first poem, unfortunately, the author is unknown. It's entitled, A Life Well Lived. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory our grateful hearts will treasure. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I think we can all agree that Marilyn succeeded big time. And that's what makes today so difficult. And we often look for comfort. And we find that, many of us, by turning to the book of Psalms. Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence shall my help come? My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. Turning to your service folders, you find the 23rd Psalm, a psalm that I think speaks to all of us, regardless of our faith. And so I'd like to invite all of you here, as well as those of you who are joining us remotely, to join with me in reciting the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. If you knew Marilyn, you knew being with her was just so much fun. She had a wonderful sense of humor, and she loved to laugh. Vivian Wade wrote, "A sense of humor is important, as shock absorbers are to a car. It helps to get over rough patches that come to us near and by far. A sense of humor is really needed, as a tightrope walker needs a pole. It helps to keep us well balanced. It can cheer and make joyful the soul. A sense of humor is necessary as yeast is to the rising of bread. When raising our voices in laughter, happiness to others will spread. A sense of humor is important. The Bible, in Proverbs, we read, "A merry heart does good like medicine," which is very good medicine indeed. Marilyn was blessed with so much love, especially from her family. And there's this beautiful poem that expresses how when we're lucky enough to have relatives who love us unconditionally, it's truly one of the greatest gifts of all. In fact, the author of this poem, unfortunately, is unknown, but it is entitled the greatest gift. One of the greatest gifts that life can give to anyone is the very special love that families share. As years go by, it's good to know that there will always be certain people in our lives who care. For there are countless things that only families have in common, and memories that no one else can make. And these precious ties that bind a family together are bonds that time and distance cannot break. How fortunate we are when we have relatives to love us. It makes the world a happy place to be. Few gifts in life will last as long or touch the heart as deeply as the very special gift of family. I invite you to now.
I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the money. I guess you say what can make me feel this way. My girl, talking about my girl. I got so much honey, the reason you need. I've got the sweetest song, baby, than the birds in the trees.
It happens all the time. It's a I'm all alone and I need you now. I said I wouldn't call, but I've lost all control and I need you now.
Don't hurt me, don't you care? Don't you care? If you don't want me, una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia per mi partita, y arriba, y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Yo no soy el marinero, yo no soy
Michael,
el
you gotta dance with us.
capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán.
We have a few speakers today. It's my honor to first call upon Allie.
Going rogue at the beginning. When my aunt passed away, it was the hardest thing that had ever happened to me in my entire life up until now, and it was all a blur. I remember wishing that I had looked around the room to see who all came, so I'm just taking that moment for myself to just see how filled the space is with so much love. And thank you guys all for coming to be here for her and for me and my family. Put on eyeliner today, so we're going to try to do this without too many tears, but they tend to just keep coming, even when you think there's no more. My mom was a kind person. She always saw the best in people and saw the true happiness in life. She was stylish and had a love for diamonds and designer bags. Let's just say my mom was a beautiful person, both inside and out. Every single person in this room already knows that. We all have that relationship with her in which nothing we can ever say will truly do her justice. She was my everything for most of my life. It was me and my mama against the world. I admired her deeply. She was a strong woman, a single working mom who made sure I had it all. I love her so much. Growing up, I had a vision that I would be a successful powerhouse of a woman. I would move to California, have a big house with a pool, and my mom would always live in my pool house. I was going to give back to her someday all that she gave to me. Obviously, we both chose the snow over sunshine, but she did like to remind me ever so often that she was still waiting for that pool. I don't know if it was her love for handbags or the romance of the Eiffel Tower, but my mom always had a desire to go to Paris. So that was one thing I was able to give her. When Emerson was a year old, Jeff and I decided to visit family in Europe, and it didn't take much convincing to get Mom and Michael to come with. My favorite memory on this trip, and probably one of hers, was our cooking class in Siena. It was just so cool. This woman opened up her beautiful home to us, and she taught us how to make some traditional Italian favorites while sharing stories of her life. We got to sit around the dinner table and eat food with her and just enjoy being there. But I know that my mom's favorite part of that trip was Paris, where she bought a brand new Louis Vuitton bag, and we stayed at an apartment overlooking the Eiffel Tower. I find comfort in the fact that I made her proud. She was able to see me become successful in my career, fall in love with my true soulmate, who she took in as her own son, and begin to raise a great little man. Last night, I spoke with Emerson about the funeral and explained that family will be sharing memories about Grandma. And he said, I think you should tell everyone that I love Grandma and I am going to miss her. I am not sad because I will be with my mommy and daddy and dream about Grandma. Emerson was her pride and joy. It hurts so much to know that she will not be able to see him grow up. I do feel in my heart that she will always be watching over him, and I know that he too will make her very proud. Emerson, Jeff, and I look forward to hearing your memories about my mom as we mourn together over the next several days. Some may call it a Shiva, but I call it a celebration of life. And you know my mom loved a good party.
And now it's my honor to call upon Harleen.
I am woman, hear me roar. And roar she could. She was a prize fighter. Our family is a tribe of survivors. Auntie Inga told Marilyn, we were Holocaust survivors. You must fight to survive. And fight she did with every last breath. Marilyn made friends, lots of friends, and they stuck to her like glue forever. My dear cousin Marilyn, just slightly older than me, was always first in ear piercing, in makeup, in dating, in latest trends. She loved music and concert going. She loved cool cars. She loved her family and was so proud.
You'll hear it again.
Especially of Allie, Jeff, Emerson, and Erica. She loved her Michael, and she loved a clean house. Marilyn is the OG, original gangster on OCD, clean and tidy. Take your shoes off upon entering, no joke. She made the best chicken soup and passed down to me her recipe for the best grandma sprinkle cookies for her Emerson. She told me she will not be here for Emerson's bar mitzvah and that I, Auntie Haha, has to step in and be there for him. She has big shoes to fill. No one can fill them. We can only carry her mission forward and honor her wishes. Marilyn was steadfast in her wishes. She was in control. We were diligent and vigilant for her. And Allie helped her fulfill her last wishes and carry out her master plan. She put her house in order and spread her blessings. She lived a good life and had no regrets. I'd like to share now some memories from our New York family who are brokenhearted with us in spirit. Our New York family is a huge part of our lives. They feel more like sisters than cousins, as if they live next door, not so many miles away. We pulled a couple all-nighters, like the good old days, with the New Yorkers this last visit, talking endlessly, reminiscing. Dear Cousin Ivy said, her ability to focus on the goodness in life and share the goodness with others is what made Marilyn so special in her eyes. Auntie Inga expressed how proud she was for the strength Marilyn showed, but more importantly, for her love of family and friends. And that is why we are all gathered here today.
It's now my honor to call upon Erica to offer some memories.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Erica, Marilyn's niece. One of the most special gifts of life is to be loved and cared for like you're their own, even when you're not. As many of you know, Aunt Mare's sister, Robin, my mom, was the first of the siblings to pass away when I was 11 years old. My mom suffered for over 2 years, and during those years, Aunt Mare was like a mom to me. Her priority was to make sure I was living a fulfilling life during the difficulty of coping with my mom's sickness, which also continued after her passing. As I felt the impact of losing a mother, I gained the care and nurture that my mom would have showed me through Aunt Mare, which was displayed throughout my life. During every school year, she would always ask me how my grades were with congratulatory remarks, and she constantly wondered about my friends and my interests. When I performed in high school plays, she was always in the audience supporting me. She also did the little things in life that meant the most, like when I was sick, I could count on Aunt Mare to bring me her homemade chicken soup. We would also frequently talk about the latest fashion to make sure she was keeping up with all the trends, even if it meant me, her, and Alex all had the same thing. Aunt Mare continuously showed me her love, care, and concern for all of my endeavors, which I will feel in my heart as my life goes on. Aunt Mare, I'm thankful for you and I love you. May your memory be for a blessing.
And now it's my honor to call upon Denise.
Thank you. Hi. Okay, hold on. Over the last several weeks, so many memories flooded my dreams. I've shared some with family and friends, and of course, Aunt Mare. Today, let me tell you how lucky I was to have such a cool aunt. I have to talk about me just for a second first, though. I've been sick most of my life, and I've always kind of looked awkward, out of place, and often felt judged and anything but pretty or cool. I was either too chubby or skinny, with a curved back, flat chest, big glasses, I have an oversized head, and did I mention I'm short? And here I am, this kid, looking up at somebody who I consider so beautiful and pretty, with long, thick hair she'd allow me to brush. She was always so well put together. She had numerous pairs of red, black, and white patent pumps, high heels, that I'd try to walk in. Oh, and those high heel boots that really would scare the crap out of my grandma when I wore those. Her drawers were filled with sparkling accents, beautiful jewelry. Oh, how I would get lost in that jungle, which was her closet, filled with clothes to dress up in. Her style was always cool, but what really made her the coolest is the way she made me feel. I always felt pretty when I was around her. And she would tell me that cool is an attitude. She'd paint my nails pretty colors. She'd paint my toes pretty colors. When I was with her, I got my ears pierced. Of course, we had to go to the payphone and call my mom and ask for permission. And she said, okay. My aunt was kind of a minimalist, and I loved her taste. Betty Boot, Marilyn Monroe, black and white art, very simple, clean, classic, and cool. You know what also made her really kick-ass cool? She was always there for me, no matter what our family drama was going through. She was there for me. There was never a time I didn't feel like I couldn't call her if I needed to. I'm sorry, my nose is running. Okay. Whoever she had in her life, she made sure that they accepted her family. I highly respected her devotion to my Aunt Robin, to Erica, Alex, Jason, Michael, me, and her family. I remember asking her why Jason would still come over so much after she was divorced. She literally said, "You divorce husbands, not children." As if, Aunt Mare, that's a line from a movie. While recovering from my stroke, not to mention numerous other medical nightmares, she would also be there, no matter what. She came wherever I was and would sit next to me, sometimes making me laugh, sometimes just letting me sleep, and always making sure that I was eating. And I know she did that for other people as well. I have a lot of memories from my childhood, including dancing in my bloomies in front of her mirrored wall, listening to Blondie, Rod Stewart, the Bee Gees, don't get me started on the Bee Gees, and the Beatles, and of course Madonna. One time I was just dancing and I felt so free and alive. I turned around and my aunt was just watching me, smiling. I don't know why, but I just remember that it made me feel special. And I remember that if I were to ever become a mom or an aunt, I would want to be that cool. I would want to make the other people feel that they are pretty, even if they're not the standards of what other people think is perfection. I'd also like to say thank you to my aunt, and I hope she can hear me, and I hope she knew how much I appreciated everything. She included me in so much of her life. I was the flower girl at her first wedding. I was a participant in the showers and parties and events for her second. When she became a mom, I remember going out with her to pick out stuff for the nursery. I think it was all baby chicks. She still stayed a really cool aunt, but even like my mom said, when you become a mom, you become a little stricter. She did, but not by much. Thank you, Aunt Mir, for introducing me to granola, to bangs, to mindless Hallmark movies that you don't have to think, some really great music, seat warmers, oh my gosh. But most of all, thank you for keeping almost all of your promises, except the last one, but it's not your fault. I love you so very much, and thank you for making an awkward girl feel really, really beautiful. I love you. Yeah, thank you.
And once again, I invite you to look at the screen.
Valentine's, Grandma Love, Heart, Grandma Pookie, Grandma Heart.
You don't need more than that. Just, she loved being a grandma. We've heard so many beautiful stories and memories of Marilyn, and there are a few more that were shared with me that I'd like to share with all of you. Marilyn had truly incredible friends going back from her childhood, and many of her friends really were more like family. Along with their spouses, they had so much fun together, whether it was going out to eat or to drink, or sitting at the pool and sunbathing, or speed walking or shopping, lots of shopping, working out at Fitness 19, or traveling or going to wonderful concerts, especially those outdoors. During the time that she was a manicurist, she loved being a manicurist, and she made many good friends. Perhaps some of you were her clients, and you became not just her client, but her friend. She could talk, it seems to me, with anyone. She was just so friendly. She made you feel like you were her favorite person. She loved to laugh and make you laugh, always with a positive outlook. She loved to travel, and the family recalled many cruises, her trip to San Diego, to Israel, to Germany, to Paris, right, all throughout Europe. She was fortunate in that way to be able to see so much of the world and to go out dancing with Michael, as we saw, and going to the movies. And of course, she had to have her buttered popcorn. She loved her cars, especially the fact that they were all convertibles. And she was so organized. She thought of everything, which, when I say she thought of everything, when we get together on a day like this to remember the life of someone who you all adored, there's a lot that goes into planning for a day like today. And she knew that. And she didn't want to put her loved ones, Allie, Michael, through that process of making all kinds of decisions. She thought of everything. She told Allie, when the time comes, this is where you're going to find this is what you need to do for that. And she shared everything. What a gift. She was a gift to all of you who knew her, you had in her life. You were a gift, she was a gift. We know that none of us are going to live forever. Many of us believe that our spirit, our soul, can live on, l'dor vador, from generation to generation. And the way that we believe this can happen is by those of us who are still here continue to speak about Marilyn, to document those memories so that when Emerson grows up, he's going to know more about his grandma. How she always had a smile on her face, how she was really a bad girl, incredibly stylish, such a clean freak, a social butterfly who was so caring and loving. It's important to document the memories as well in a variety of ways. Technology is always changing. I'm not so sure a piece of paper is going to go out of style anytime during our lifetime. I could be wrong. But find a variety of ways to document your memories, your stories, so that Marilyn's memory will continue to live on from generation to generation. Her love of clothes and designer bags and shoes and jewelry and her fur coat. Her love of, most of all, I think, being with her family. I hope that you will always remember her positive outlook, her ability to see the best in others, and her deep love for Emerson, for Allie and Jeff and Michael, and her amazing friends and relatives. She cared deeply about all of you and your happiness. She put you first. Know how blessed you have been to have had Marilyn in your life. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is forever a blessing. And to that we say, Amen. I invite you to turn to your service folders for the El Male Rachamim prayer. This is the final prayer here in the chapel. If you are planning to go with us to the cemetery, please make sure you take your service folder as we will be reciting the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on the back cover of your service folder. If you are able to rise for El Male Rachamim, I invite you to please rise at this time. El Male Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Amsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Gerushim Uteorim Ki Zohar Harikia שהלכה לעולמה. בעל הרחמים יסתיריה בסתר כנפיך לעולמים. בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר Amen. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy presence, among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament, unto the soul of Marilyn Floss Smith, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, bring her under the cover of thy wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be God's possession, and may her repose be peace. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the interment service will continue at Shalom Memorial Park Cemetery, located at 1700 West Rand Road in Arlington Heights. The family will be returning to the Smith-Sachs residence at 44 Cambridge Lane in Lincolnshire. They'll be together today following the interment till 7 p.m., Wednesday and Thursday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the memorial contributions to the Mediviver research and support, that information is on the service folder. And for those of you who are joining us via live stream, all the information you could find on the funeral home's website. For those of you who will be driving in the funeral procession to the cemetery, the procession will be forming in our parking lot. Please obtain an orange safety funeral sticker to place on the right-hand side of your windshield. Have your bright lights and hazard lights on at all times. For additional measures of safety, we will be providing a car in the back of the procession to hopefully keep other cars from entering the procession. Also, please use your horn liberally as you're going through the intersections. Please do not speak or text on your cellular phone while driving to the cemetery. At this time, I'd like to call upon the pallbearers that will be serving today. Please stand next to Marilyn's casket when I call your name. Stewart Becker, Harleen Rule, Jerome Drazin, Shelley Singer, Jason Smith, and Terry Silverstein. This time I invite everyone to please rise and stand in place as we escort the casket of Marilyn Floss Smith, along with her family and Rabbi Nancy Landsman from the chapel. Then you may return to your cars.
Shalom b'mrama, shalom aleichem.
You may return to your cars.